Hello and welcome to the Human Resource in Practice program online training session. My name is Omolela Elsie Oluwale, the founder of Lighthouse HR Company. So far, so good. I believe you have been enjoying all of the training programs that we've been having on the HRIP sessions. Okay, please, if you have questions, you need clarifications, you can share it with us on the HRIP community group, or you can put it on the comment section so that we can pick it up, discuss it when we have our weekend review and forum sessions, so you are not in doubt of the importance of having this program, taking this program and building a career in the human resource space. Today, we'll be looking at the human resource functions in the workplace, all right? This course, what you'll be enjoying is that we'll have definition of what human resource is, the different concepts. We're having an overview. Some certain clients have HR, in operations differently from other clients, just as we see in other sessions, because each individual organization is what is unique on its own. So how some of these things, some of these processes and functions are interpreted could be different, okay? However, the foundations remain the same. The principles, the processes remains the same. They might just, differ in implementation and execution as the case may be. All right, so we'll be looking at the ethical areas of HR. As an HR practitioner, what are we expected to do? The need for HR in an organization. We'll be delving further in other sessions attached to this one, like a part 2 of this. We'll be taking individual human resource functions and I'll be sharing more light on each of these. Then we'll be looking at questions and answers and then case study analysis. Now, at the end of this session, what will you achieve? You'll be able to demonstrate the understanding you have garnered with what in HR practices, the concept and the theories. Secondly, you'll be able to demonstrate competencies in developing and solving problems in the workspace, okay? And then you'll be able to identify and appreciate the significance of being an ethical HR in doing the right thing the right way. And then we'll also look at other related areas, HR areas in the organization. Now, human resource, as we have overemphasized, okay, and we cannot overemphasize it too much, is a very wide industry, is a wide space. It consists of all of the functions, about 12 to 15 of them, all right, under the banner human resource management. In the past, we used to have it as maybe industrial relations, we used to have it as personnel management. We used to be popularly known as human resource, but now, not just in the Gen Zs, but even by the millennials, you will notice that in our era, it is more of HR. You hear more of human resource more than either HRM or HRD. It's not because HR has changed. Rather, it has only given us an opportunity to broaden the horizon when it comes to HR. What that means is that there's human resource management, human resource development, and every other functions that is attached to the HR, the concept of HR. Okay, so human resource in organization is designed to maximize employee performance. Everything you are doing, we already made you understand that HR, your employees are key factors, the major player in every organization, and we have to maximize their performance in order that employers' strategic goals and objectives are achieved. So more precisely, HR focus on the management of people within an organization, leveraging on both their policies and their system. Now, what is HR as a process? All right, we have HR, the people, HR, the unit or the department, HR in context. We have, the values of HR. We have HR that's the workforce. So now what we are talking about is HR as a process. What's the process of HR? Okay. Again, HR is essential to an organization. And the HR as a process includes step-by-step activities that are interconnected in order that an organization is able to offer their services or their products through their employees. Basically, employees are considered as the HR in a business. Okay, now we have established the fact that HR are valuable in the organization. The people in the organization are considered as the most important factor. The processes to engaging these people from the day they were employed, even pre-employment, from the day you put the job out, to getting these people to work with you, to the very time when they exit that organization, there is the human resource processes. So daily activities, step by step activities, lay down activities that you must take that are interconnected and must happen for certain goals to be achieved. So in terms of recruitment, there's a process. In terms of selecting employees, providing orientation and onboarding induction program, there's a process attached to it. In terms of impacting proper training and development skills, increasing our knowledge and competencies as practitioners, even with our colleagues, there's a process to it, okay? In terms of assessing people's employees' performance, facilitating compensation and benefit, that salary, payroll management and all that, there's a process. When you are in the works of engaging employees, encouraging them, motivating them, ensuring that there's a proper relationship within the organization. Even when you have to be the middleman, the contact person between the labor, that's either the labor union, organization, trade unions and all that, even in manufacturing organization, you being the liaison officer in court between the external stakeholders and everyone within the organization, there is a process to it. So including the welfare of your staff, the welfare of the employees, their health, their safety, there's a process to it. So you must take it as a responsibility to ensure that your processes as an HR practitioner are duly followed to the letter, all right? Now, human resource as a workforce. Now, when you come to, for example, Lighthouse HR Company, when you come to Lighthouse HR Company and I'm saying, as an external, you come in and say, I want to meet with your entire workforce. What you are trying to say is that I want to meet with your entire employees. So the people we hear, there are some people that say, okay, we have similar terms like people management, workforce management, personnel management, manpower, labor management. All of these are one and the same, okay? It is mostly every organization or client, industry, or maybe country will rather use certain words as against certain terms, okay? But whenever you hear the workforce, what they're trying to say is that it's the collection of a group of employees that are working within a particular organization. Now, HR as a department is responsible for taking care of this workforce, this group of individuals who have decided to come together to focus on achieving a particular vision. And you as a HR practitioner are responsible for all things worker related. The human resource department or unit is responsible for all things worker related. So this includes recruitment, vetting, securing and hiring, onboarding, promotion, paying of salaries, including having access to independent contractors, that's external stakeholders. In some organizations, you have the what they call the word. You have the responsibilities and duties to engage with external contractors, partners and investors. In some cases, it's not the same, okay? In some organizations, your duty is just to focus on the employees that you have been assigned to. And as you grow, into the organization, what happens is that you can now enter into the space where you deal with other stakeholders. Now, in context, HR today, as we said, is related to people. Whatever decisions you are making, strategies, the principles, the operations, the functions, the activity that has to do, and the method used in managing these employees, it is HR in context, which means that these are your key responsibilities. What type of relationship do you want people to have within the organization? The places of employment, anything that affects relationship must be positive. It is important for you as an HR practitioner to know that you will try as much as possible to ensure there's harmony within the organization you work with. Okay, take it as a key responsibility on your shoulders. Do not encourage a toxic work environment or toxic employees or toxic employers, okay? Find a way to build and ensure a consistent positive relationship within the business. Then ensure that employees are satisfied, okay? Not to the detriment of the organization, of course, but ensuring that there's a balance between the satisfaction of the employees and achieving satisfaction in the space of the employer. Okay, so whatever conditions of service or conditions of employment that you are working with or you will be called to introduce must encourage job satisfaction. must toe the line of job satisfaction. So at the end of the day, even the organization benefits from it. What that means is that for better service delivery, for better production of goods and services, and then to help the organization succeed, your employees must be satisfied, okay? HR is people focused. Again and again, you cannot overemphasize this. HR is people focused, and every employee in an organization must be regarded as the most prominent factor for that organization to survive, to grow, and to be sustainable in whatever industry. HR must be considered as critical. Now let's dive deeper into what the HR department should look like. The HR department handles everything personnel, we said that already, and the activities that are associated with managing people within the organization. The HR department is responsible for executing all of the processes. Remember, we have mentioned HR as a process. All of the processes from benefits to hiring, compensation, all the human resource functions that you'll be learning in the next training session, HR department is responsible for it. And other programs that are people related, all right, maybe training and development, going for courses, whether within the organization or outside the organization, the HR department is responsible. HR is the lifeblood of every organization. You, as an HR practitioner, is the lifeblood of every organization. It's the lifeblood that gives life to ensuring that the employees in that organization do their bit in ensuring that that business grows, and also in ensuring that the individual person, okay, that person, that staff, that individual also grows and thrives in the workplace. So HR unit largely is dependent on the ability of your employees and yourself and your entire HR team to improve on performance. So nowadays, HR professionals and practitioners now operate in the strategic level. Okay, so in the past, it used to be just put HR in implementation. So every other department, marketing, ICT, operations, join in strategic planning, strategic decision making, strategic business partnerships. But the HR was never considered as a unit that is that important. But in the new era where we operate right now, HR is now more than just implementation. We have been placed in positions of strategic business partnership. So see yourself as that kind of practitioner, one who is able to make decisions from the first day they hit the ground running. What that means is that you can grow. You might not necessarily be in that capacity right now because you're an aspiring HR practitioner, you are in entry level, you are just a junior, or you are just in junior management. What you should do is that, as we always will say, start local, think global, okay? Think like someone who is a global leader in the HR space and begin to make decisions in that level. Start making critical decisions that are future proof. Okay, so when whatever choices and decisions I make on behalf of my people right now, when I become maybe a senior in the industry, I can revert back to those decisions and say, yes, indeed, I have made strategic decisions that have brought the organization forward. So HR right now, and more than it involves the development of a workforce from the strategic point of view, implementation to attain, competitive goals in the industry. What that means is that whatever choices and decisions you make on behalf of your people within the organization, you are placing, directly or indirectly, placing that organization ahead of their competition. Okay, so it's not just about the monies they make or the products that they produce or the services that they offer. It's more critically about the people, that is, executing these services. So strategically thinking, you must ensure that whatever choices and decisions you make, inclusive of the employees under your influence or within your circle, take up this responsibility in doing things strategically, so that in the future, your organization that you work with will be at foremost. Okay, so when you're looking at HR techniques or functions like succession planning, career planning, employee welfare, and the likes, these functions help to strengthen the organization. So when we have all of these functions in activated for employees' benefit, for your employees' benefit, whether internal or external, as the case may be, but critically internal stakeholders, it strengthens the organization. It ensures that the organization is sustained and has a highly competitive business environment to operate with. Now, to this effect, HR as a context, or HR today is responsible for effectively designing and implementing policies, standard operating procedures, and programs that are future-proof, that you will use, to develop the capacity, enlarge the knowledge base of every employee in your care. All right, inclusive of you as an individual. So you cannot do without being continuously developing yourself, managing skills, your skills, improving on your skills, being creative, covering, ensuring that the attitude and the aptitude of your colleagues in the office and the talents that they offer to make sure that the organization performs optimally is all laid down on the table and is in continuous improvement. So do not take it that it's a one size fits all. I only got trained one day and that's all. No, you will continuously have to train yourself, especially to fit the future of work. Just as we said, we mentioned that HR strengthens the organization when we do things rightly. We also contribute to the social economic solutions that will help with unemployment, inequality, a balanced distribution of income and wealth, and even employee welfare, as the case may be. HR provides an opportunity of expression to manage people's voices. Voices means their ideas, their opinions, and all that. And then we ensure that we provide fair and acceptable, efficient leadership. Just as I mentioned, everything you do must be able to be future-proof. So when I look back, I can say that the decisions I made in the past has brought me and my colleagues to the top thus far. Okay, so HR also is to ensure that the right facilities are provided and the conditions within the work environment is favorable for all employees, all right, to work optimally. Now, in all that I have said, how is HR, as an HR practitioner, how are you to do your business? Every human resource practitioner and professional must do their business morally, must manage morals, must do things ethically and within the legal framework of the organization as well as the country by which they operate in. Okay, it is our responsibility to ensure that beyond compensations and benefits, recruitment, training, and development, the team that you also are a part of will foster a kind of environment that ensures that challenges are solved. There's a variety of persons or people within the workforce. So, for example, if Lighthouse HR Company, okay, has about 500 employees, what we are trying to say here is that you should create a balance. So in Nigeria, for example, we have over 200 languages. Now, can you imagine Lighthouse HR Company deciding to hire a minimum of 2 persons in each of these tribes? What have we been able to do? We have been able to give people a fair playing ground when it comes to employment. So we are not marginalizing anyone for the sake of religion or their background or their belief system or where they are coming from. Okay, so HR is to do business ethically in addressing all the issues of inequality and ensure that the standards you are working with in the workplace must be fair for all. Okay, so when it comes to what's your policies like, is it one-sided? Ensure it is not. What are your procedures like? Is it one-sided? Ensure it is not. So as whatever organization you have chosen to work with, ensure that that organization attracts and retains talent who will be able to do things the right way. Okay, so HR conversations should ensure that you challenge the status quo of marginalization, challenge the status quo of an environment that is toxic, of an environment where the workplace is not friendly, does not, mark for progress. Okay, do not go in that line. Find a way of I'm not saying you should, in quotes, okay, do the aluta continua thing. No, I'm trying to tell you that as a practitioner who will one day become a professional, ensure your department, your unit, and as an individual, there is balance. That's what I'm trying to say. There is balance. Ensuring that whatever decisions you make are based on the ethics of the profession. We're just like medical doctors, all right, and possibly like lawyers also, where key decisions that are made are kept confidential. Okay, we'll be talking about it in subsequent time. So acting with a moral heart within the organization, not bias, not with selfish interest, but ensuring that you are doing the things that are supposed to be done as a professional. Upholding strong ethical standards. Make sure that your workspace and your workplace and everyone in that organization will thrive in an environment that maintains employee confidence and they are happy with coming to the office. Now, how can I be an ethical human resource practitioner? One, know the law. For example, Nigeria. What does the Nigerian 1999 Constitution say about employment? Go and do your research on it. Know the labor law. What does the labor law say? What does it say about employment? What does it say about overtime? What does it say about employee welfare? Look at it and then find a way of, getting familiar with everything related to labor law and the work environment. So professionals and practitioners are responsible to know what the law says about employment, and then you are responsible to be accountable to these policies, to these laws, so that your workplace will stay in compliance with what the local law says, the state law, and the federal law, including the organization being compliant to its own policy, to its own organizational procedures, to its system. All right. So bear this also in mind. Then prioritize professional development. Train yourself consistent on a regular basis. Okay. Be an ethical leader. Take confidential information of employees confidential. Keep it confidential. Make sure that you plan to be a leader, not just now, beginning from now towards the future. Understand conflict of interest. Okay. Conflict of interest in the sense that we are all from different backgrounds, different trainings, different knowledge, different tribes, religious background, political ideals. The question is that how can you create balance between all of this? So conflict of interest is a detriment to business growth, even for the growth of the individual. So make sure that you have an understanding where you are not biased. So whatever choices and decisions you are making, what that means is what? You are to understand the reason for the conflict and how to solve them. Then introduce diversity and inclusion practices where all of these different race, class, gender, inequality, and all that, wherever it is I'm coming from, all of it comes together, and at the end of the day, what happens? There is a balance. The company has value. The employees are able to offer value. The company in turn is able to offer value without any form of bias. Again, I say keep information confidential. All right. You have the legal obligation to keep everything you hear by the employees to yourself, except otherwise specified or discussed. If it's going to go in line with against the policies of the organization, and is detrimental to other employees, go by the policies and the procedures of the organization and get those of interest, to be in the know. But where this is not the case, you are to keep this information to yourself. Health status of the organization, the social security number, including payroll, where there is a non-disclosure agreement about salaries. It's not in your purview to share. All right. So it means stay within the lines of confidential information. All right. So we will stop here, and then we'll look at the next session where we'll be looking at all of the functions of the HR, all of the functions of human resource, about 12 or 15 of them. See you in the next session. Thank you.